Let's talk about engineering problem solving. This is in reference to solving math problems in your engineering notebooks. I have very specific expectations for how you are going to solve these problems and the documentation that supports them. The main idea is that anybody should be able to pick up your notebook, look at the math that you did, and understand what it is you were doing. So that requires a little more than you're probably used to providing for homework. First thing, every time, write the question word for word. The problems I post on Canvas, I will shorten those and edit those and summarize those so they're not as long as they could be. And if we use PLTW stuff, I'll let you know if you can summarize, but when in doubt, just write it word for word. We need to be able to open it and see what you were thinking about when you were trying to solve the problem. Then the next thing is the diagram. You need to draw a picture with every problem so that I can see that you understand what it's talking about. A lot of times you have to have a picture to even begin to comprehend the question. So what I would like to see is a picture with everything. Then we get to the acronym FSA. This stands for Formula, Substitution, and Answer. So you need to provide the formula in its basic form at least, so that we can see what tool you were using to solve this problem. And what I mean by substitution is what numbers are you going to put in the calculator and what math functions are you going to apply? Are you going to square root, square, is it a cosine or tangent function? Is it multiplied, divided? What are you doing? I need to see your work, and this is where you show me how you're going to use math to solve it. And then answer, I want to talk about that a little more detailed. For your answers, you need to include units like inches, or feet, or pounds, or cubic meters. Without a unit, your answer is wrong, unless it is a ratio, and ratios have no units. Rather than getting tripped up in significant figures and precision and all that sort of thing, I want us to err on the side of being overly precise. So we're going to include 5 important numbers, 5 significant figures with every answer. And I also don't want to see you rounding. Just write down the first 5 numbers that are important and go from there. Let's talk about what that would look like. So if you have a 12-digit answer that pops up on your calculator, just write down the first 5. So like 25.364. If it is a shorter than 5-digit answer, go ahead and fill in the rest to get to 5 digits. So for instance, if you've got 325, let's put 325.00 to show me that you were thinking about 5 digits. And keep in mind that leading zeros between the decimal and the first non-zero number are not important. So if you had a decimal like this, you would need to include the 2 leading zeros as well, so 0.0028567. So that's what I mean by 5 digits, or 5 significant figures. Skip lines between your problems. Do not cram your work together. It makes it difficult to read and will cause you to make mistakes. So I want you to compare these 2 pictures. The one on the left, this is what I see on a lot of work. Some of you kind of do this in algebra and your teachers mysteriously accept it. But if you look at the box in green, that may be all for 1 problem or 2 problems, and it's all mixed up. You can't tell what's going on. So what I want your work to look like is more like what you see on the right side, where everything is organized, there's white space, there's spacing between solutions, answers are easy to see. Make it easy for me to follow your math here. If it's not easy for me to see, I may take off points. So in review, the 4 things you're going to do when you're working math problems for me is write the problem word for word, diagram, that means include a picture that helps me see that you understand the problem or helps you solve the problem, And then FSA, which stands for formula, substitution, and answer. We talked about the answer needing the correct units, and we talked about the answer being written with 5 important numbers or 5 significant figures, and always skip lines between your work to make it easy to read.